Hi, this is Pamela Wirth with the Hello.Health Encourage Your Wellness podcast. And today I have Nelly Gal. She is a Cuban-born physician assistant, entrepreneur, and wellness advocate, passionate about helping women reclaim their energy, beauty, and power. So excited to have you. And, you're a real inspiration for someone coming to the States at the age of 21 with nothing. And here you are today. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to be here and being on your program. You have always amazing guests. So I'm super excited to be here and share a little bit of my path and my passion and my purpose, which is just to help women recover from burnout, fatigue, low hormones, etc., and also a touch on beauty from the outside.
Fabulous. So tell us a little bit about your journey. What has kind of brought you to this point?
Okay. I'm Cuban born. I came when I was 21 years old. I moved to South Beach for a year, then went to New York City and decided to open a medical spa with my husband at the time. And that's where my passion for health and my passion for beauty started. We had a very successful business. I was very new to all things business, entrepreneurship. I come from a communist country. We were not by any means, taught or educated on business, entrepreneurship, and anything like that. And I kind of was thrown into, owning a business and trying to figure things out. And the first couple of years, it was really hard. And then we got our kind of footing together. Unfortunately, we had to close the med spa because I had to go to PA school, and that went fabulous. I graduated with honors, and I did neurosurgery for about 2 years in New York. So I know a little bit what is to be on the medical, more medical side, a more Western medicine side. And I just felt a very large pull to come back to wellness and to come back to anti-aging, to combat some of the things that I was seeing in surgery. So that's pretty much the reason why I'm in. One of the other reasons is purpose-wise. I have a very large family in Cuba who I still support and I still have to take care of. And that means that, being an entrepreneur is kind of one of the main ways to make sure that happens. And from the health part, I have a very large, again, history of type 2 diabetes and dementia in my family. So that kind of plays into why I choose more of this path that can help me, but also help my family have education and the means to get medication.
How would you describe your focus in health and wellness now? How are you kind of your connection point? Who do you really enjoy serving? How kind of talk through that process a little bit?
So currently I have a brick and mortar clinic. I don't know if you went to the website, vibrantmed.com, and is my baby in a way. This is like my first real, shot at entrepreneurship on my own. And I love my business. My clientele and demographic right now is this woman 35 and up that is starting to see the signs of aging physically, outwardly. And then when they come in, my focus is on how can I make sure that you also have the knowledge on how to make yourself beautiful from the inside and out. So I am very big on, let's say if you come in you want an anti-wrinkle injection, or you want your lips done, or you want to feel sexy for an event. I always start with, obviously that consultation and that treatment plan related to the cosmetic part, but I infuse everything with the touch of health and wellness. And how do I do that? We speak about hormones. We speak about the importance of supplementing hormones, supplementing stress hormones, supplementing things like your testosterone, your estrogen, your progesterone, and in a way that is not necessarily always with medication. It is mostly with lifestyle recommendations, but also supplements. So I'm very big on, everything that has to do with adaptogens, everything that has to do with a good vitamin complex, thyroid support, how to do very good liver detox, etc. So those are the things that when my clients come in, they're like, oh, but nobody else is talking about this when I go to get my, face done somewhere else. And that is a disservice that we do sometimes as injectors and as cosmetic healthcare professionals. We don't really look further than the skin. And we definitely have to. So that's kind of like where I marry both worlds.
That's true. What are some of your favorite kind of diet things, supplement things, kind of some of the questions you ask? I mean, a lot of it comes down to inflammation. How do you kind of drill down into what might be causing inflammation in that particular person and how to calm it down, basically?
Well, I mean, you can start as simple as how is your diet? That's it. That's the number one thing. A lot of people come in and they want quick fixes. They want to look better for a certain event. They want to look better for, a date or whatnot. And they're not really interested in, let me just change my whole lifestyle. But there are others that they do. And when I'm given the opportunity and when I make space to talk to women about how important it is to nourish yourself correctly, and not only from physical foods, but also from your environment, what kind of air you're breathing, what kind of water you're drinking, how is the, conduction system in your home, your air ducts, etc., because that affects your skin, that affects your health. So the skin is actually just how your skin looks is a reflection of what's going on inside. And in terms of supplementation, I mean, it depends on what are the concerns, but I love to start my women with vitamin D3 because it is a great cholesterol. It's a great hormone. It's actually a hormone. A lot of people don't understand that vitamin D3 is a hormone. And it is the basis for all of the different hormones that we have. So it's kind of like the parent hormone for cortisol, parent hormone for progesterone, for estrogen, etc. Then I like to talk to them about a supplementation for thyroid, things like have all the B complexes, the B12 methylated, the zinc, the copper. Importantly, a lot of thought about magnesium and how magnesium is involved in over 300-400 different enzymatic reactions in the body that not only affect your thyroid, but affect literally every single cell that you have. And most of us are deficient in vitamin D. We don't really take magnesium as we should. I have most of my clients that suffer from insomnia. And when you have insomnia and you don't sleep well, it shows up in your face. It shows up as dark circles. It shows up as blemishes. It shows up as skin discolorations. And targeting sleep is one of the main things that I do at the office as well. I run the Dutch test. I'm very sure you are, knowledgeable about it. And for most of my patients, cortisol, melatonin on the floor, right? So those are the two main things. The reason why clients and patients cannot go to sleep is because they have a deficiency in melatonin. They're not really making or they're not really, how can I say this, ingesting 5-HTP, which is the precursor of melatonin or tryptophan. They're not taking enough magnesium, etc. And then in the cortisol part, some people can go to sleep, but they cannot stay asleep. So they have this surge of cortisol at night. Your body's thinking that is on, fight or flight. And then in the morning, it's all the way down. So a lot of low cortisol for women who suffer from chronic stress. I say it, if you have a child, if you have a mortgage or a car payment, you are stressed out. And that's not even to count with everything that happens at work, everything that happens within your, family nucleus, etc. So I do have my 3 different plans for hormone support, for stress support, and for gut support. And all of it is in full script. I'm sure you know what is full script. I have a dispensary over there. And I basically send my clients my recommendations for those 3 different diagnoses once I talk to them or I meet with them.
Yeah. And you bring up the Dutch test. I recently did that. And it was interesting because it showed that my cortisol was too low in the afternoon and too high at night, or vice versa. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so my doctor had me start taking cortisol around dinner time so then I
Mm-hmm.
could start to not have that
Balance.
surge at night. And
Yeah,
without the Dutch test, I don't know that I would have understood that what was going on. So it really is an interesting, it's kind of a pain to do for a day and a half, but it's good. It's a really good test.
it
Um,
is.
and I
It
love
just
that
gives
you,
you very specific, the nuances of the things. I mean, you might know what's going on, but you don't really know what is going on. And for that, I mean, I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to do that for my clients.
yeah. Um, and I love that you're helping people find out why. Um, I think too many times we take a look at the symptom and say, okay, so let's solve for this, but what's causing the symptom, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, running those tests, I think is pretty awesome. And so I think,
Absolutely. Yeah. I went through a test with a patient of mine this morning, and she's like, oh my God, I didn't even know that that existed. The testing also lets you know the state of your liver, right? So if you're somebody that drinks your wine at night or likes to have your cup of cocktails every night, your liver is under attack.
mhm.
So it is not metabolizing things like estrogen properly, and it can lead to an increase in growth that you don't want. And, doing this sort of testing gives you a black and white response and say, hey, this is correct. This is true. Your liver is under stress. You might want to, stay off the alcohol or do a liver detox to make sure that we can get those levels where they're supposed to be.
So what are some of your favorite liver detox supplements? What do you like for that? There's probably
Ooh,
people on here that would appreciate to know that one.
absolutely. I like to do the basic things: magnesium, zinc, copper, selenium,
Mhm.
the B vitamins, so all the niacins, the B12 methylated. Those are the basics. So I don't necessarily like to load everybody with the bigger guns unless they have support. And the funny thing is that the same supplements and the same nutrition that your liver needs, your thyroid needs, because your thyroid T3 is made in the liver
Mhm.
from T4. And you need all of those different minerals and vitamins to make that switch so that your thyroid can actually help you lose weight, can actually help you increase metabolism, can help you detoxify as well, and create that muscle that, we're running after the muscle, right? Like, just because it is the most metabolically active tissue that you can have. So that will be my basis. An omega, definitely magnesium, fatty 15. I don't know if you've heard about this supplement, and I would recommend for you to look it up. It's the newest longevity supplement. It's called fatty 15, which is a C15, is an odd chain fatty acid that is taking over the supplement world. I was just in Vegas in a convention for peptides and supplementation, and it was a huge, they had a lot of lectures on this supplement. It is now considered, together with metformin and rapamycin, a longevity molecule.
Yes.
So that will definitely, if you include that in your diet, it will help you detoxify, stay on the healthy side, and make sure things run smoothly.
That's fabulous. Any other suggestions or anything that we're missing that you want to touch on in terms of entrepreneurship, women that might be wanting to get into health and wellness, people that might be wanting to help themselves or their families?
I have so many. You got to pick one and start shooting this way. On entrepreneurship is a wonderful thing. It is not an easy thing, as you probably know, especially for women, because we are nurturers and we are empaths. And sometimes in the world of business, you have to have a little bit of an alpha personality, where if you don't present yourself like that, you might be taken advantage of. But it is totally worth it. Why I chose entrepreneurship is because I want to be the owner of my time. I want to be the owner of my surroundings. And if I have the ability and the skill, why not to make money for myself and the team that I can, gather, so have control over that. It is not an easy road, but it is the right road if you don't like bosses. And at the end of the day, it's a lot about betting on yourself, stopping the noises telling you that you're not good enough, because those noises will never go away. As women, we are always judged in a way, judged by each other, judged by ourselves, judged by men. In this case, being an entrepreneur comes with a lot of doubt and a lot of like imposter syndrome. If you can put those thoughts aside and say, that is not me, and really live in the power and skill that you can help and you can do it, you can be extremely successful. And one of the things I always tell people is you have to be resourceful. It doesn't mean that you have all the answers, but just know that somebody out there has the answers for you. And that means that you got to associate yourself with the right people, get the right mentors if you have to pay for them, or if you have the wonderful, solution of having them close to you, that's great. That's going to save you a lot of money. But if not, you gotta invest in yourself. And that means investing in people like you, investing in people like me that knows the path, so that will be my recommendation. Bet on yourself, work on your skills, and get resourceful.
And I always say, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. Resourcefulness. Absolutely.
Understanding your limits and where you are solid and where you need help.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes as women, we don't always ask for help.
Yeah. I mean, we are wired to figure it out in a way. And sometimes when we can figure it out, you get into a zone of like, I'm not good enough. So how come I don't know this?
Yeah.
And in the entrepreneurship, in this journey, every step of the way, you're going to feel that way. You're going to feel like you don't know enough, and you never will. You never will know enough. So it's better to have that understanding and look for help.
Well, and sometimes, I live by done is better than perfect. Because if you wait for it to be perfect, it's never going to come to life. Absolutely.
For us, because we take care of a lot of people, and I mean, in my case, I take care of my whole family in Cuba. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches. Sometimes you make a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've spent a lot of money that I shouldn't have, but I didn't know any better. And those are lessons. So if you have the mentality of, I have to pay either way, either with time, either with relationships, either with money, sometimes with the three of them, then, and you make peace with that, then you can go very, very far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good. Anything else you want to touch on today?
Well, now that we're here, I wanted to just kind of like invite your listeners to a conversation with me around hormones and about supplementation. So I'm giving your listeners 60 minutes of my time, which I don't normally do, but I know that you are very generous with your time and with your resources. So I wanted to invite your listeners to a 60-minute consultation, a strategic action plan for their health with me. They can find me on Instagram at live_vibrant_medspa, and also on my website, livevibrantmed.com. I will be delighted to talk to your listeners and help them out and live my purpose.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Nelly. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.